Hey all, thanks for joining us. My name is Himanshu. I'll be the moderator for this webinar. So we have Professor Karthik here. He is one of our program directors. So Professor Karthik here will tell you about the course. Our agenda for today's webinar is to know about the course from Dr. Karthik and Thunderbird plus Amity partnership and various aspects around it. For that part, Ted will be joining us soon. So we'll start off with Dr. Karthik and he'll tell us about the course, the tools and softwares used and all related things. So over to you, Dr. Karthik.
Thank you, Himanshu, for arranging this webinar. I welcome all the participants to this webinar on postgraduate diploma program in business analytics and intelligence, jointly offered by Amity Online and Arizona State University, Thunderbird School of Management. This program is aimed at anybody who has a flair for analytics. So basically, the whole course is structured such that
you drop a message to see it once. Ask him if he wants to join.
Yeah, Dr. You can continue.
Sure. So basically, the course is aimed such that look at some of the theoretical aspects of how data is being segregated and analyzed, and we are going to largely work with hands-on and using case studies. We are going to showcase how effectively decisions can be made. That is the reason why the course has a name called Business Analytics and Intelligence, because fundamentally the data is going to be cleaned, sorted, and analyzed accordingly, and various kind of patterns are going to be seen from the data. So initially, the first module will cover on what is descriptive analytics, and we will extensively do hands-on of this descriptive analytics with R, a statistical package, and then we will do data visualization to make you understand and make the whole thing comfortable with understanding and visualizing patterns. The second module will focus mostly on inferential statistics, which will actually help you understand, make decisions, so that you can combine your whole pedagogy, which you have learned in the first module, and after that, the course will actually go in that way. So the second module will cover on the inferential statistics, and then the predictive analytics will come from the third module, fourth module, and then we will look at some of the dimension reduction techniques in the fifth module, and then we will look at bit of optimization analytics, and then the big data and the AI part is what the mainly Arizona State University will be concentrating on. So I would request Dr. Ted to actually, if possible, brief a bit on that. So maybe he's having anyway a big plan on that. So he will also going to tell more about that. So this is how the program is like structured.
So everyone, let's welcome Ted. He'll the spokesperson from the Arizona State University side, and he'll talk about Thunderbird and Amity partnership and various aspects around it. So over to you, Ted.
Thank you. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So thank you for having me tonight. I guess it's the morning for you. It's Independence Day today in the US. So happy Independence Day from the US. We're excited to be working with Amity. I'm Dr. Ted Cross. I'm a clinical assistant professor of leadership at the Thunderbird School of Global Management. We are part of the Arizona State University, the largest public university in the United States, and part of a prestigious and top-ranked global management school. And we're excited to work with Amity to provide this postgraduate diploma opportunities in analytics and team up with Amity to bring our expertise in global management to bear on analytics and leverage the resources from the wider Arizona State University offerings in analytics to go ahead and help bring a seamless program together that can create a well-rounded graduate of this program that can apply actual concepts, not just on the analysis side, but actually in practice on the job to make a difference in your career success. So in general, what we're doing at Thunderbird and at Amity is working together to bring programs from ASU and Thunderbird into new markets together, and especially in our digital offerings around analytics, global leadership, global management, international business, and those topics. And so we're partnering together to mesh together the best of our offerings to create a product offering that is not only useful for everyone, but is also timely and applies to what is needed in the workforce currently. So we're excited to be working with everyone in these programs. And in this particular program, you will have professors from Arizona State University and from Amity who are working together to teach these modules as you move through the progression of the course. Now, I'm glad to answer any questions, or if you had other topics you would like me to speak to. I'm glad to give a little bit of history of Thunderbird if that's helpful. If not, I can stop here.
So yeah, it will be great if you can tell more about Thunderbird's approach towards means how Amity and Thunderbird partnership can help students and what Thunderbird brings to the table in this course.
Yeah, so that's a great question. The first little bit of background on Thunderbird. Thunderbird is the first international business school in the world, the first international management school in the world, founded in 1946. In 2015, we joined up with Arizona State University as a college of Arizona State University, focusing on global management and leadership topics, being mostly focused in business areas, but also in cross-sector leadership and management. We are currently ranked number 7 in an international business specialty by U.S. News and World Report, so we're a top-ranked institution. And we've held higher rankings than that for 40-some years in a row. We're excited also to be part of Arizona State, as I mentioned, because not only are we a part of the largest public university in the U.S., but also we have the research resources that help bring to bear the kind of curriculum we develop, the cutting edge sort of programs that we're bringing about, and the resources to draw on the faculty members across the entire university. So it's not just that we will only draw on Thunderbird faculty, which we will, of course, but also we might find specialists in analytics or in, for example, leadership or a global finance in a different school inside the university system that we can bring into these courses and have a very good, well-rounded offering for students. So that's one of the benefits is when we're partnering with Amity, you get this opportunity to have the best of what Amity brings in their technological offerings, reputation across India and other parts of the globe, together with Thunderbird that has this global reputation, that has a long history and tradition of global excellence, all coupled together under this umbrella of partnership to work for the students. So it brings about sort of a co-branded, if you will, a way for the student to have a credential that has coursework in it from top research institution from the US and the Thunderbird School of Global Management, top ranked institution from the US, along with Amity's global reputation.
Yeah, so Ted, one more question. Can you tell a little bit about the impact of big data and artificial intelligence in the industry across any domain?
Sure, yeah. I mean, big data seems to be the buzzword in every article that you read now in the business journals and the newspapers. Almost every day you can find an article on big data. And really what we're seeing is that across all different industries. In particular, you know, one example is I was meeting with a student recently, a potential student that works in the finance sector, and was very worried about, you know, how would big data affect his job inside of finance, and how would technology interfacing with big data maybe replace his job. And so as people are increasingly concerned about automation through technology, big data becomes even more important to understand, because this is what's driving some of this automation, is the ability to look at big data and to be able to make decisions and build processes and automate different processes along the way. And so as a student, I think it's important to understand big data, because this is where things are headed in sort of the automation sphere that people are worried about, but also it's a new language of business, right? People talk in terms about big data and analytical terms that maybe aren't familiar to a lot of folks. And so this helps you to have a background in this area, so that when you're on the job, you can be able to not just, maybe you're not going to be a data scientist per se, maybe you will, but in all kinds of managerial positions and leadership positions across industries, you need to be able to understand the concepts that are involved in the analysis of big data, and understand what the analytics are telling you as you make decisions as a business leader or any organizational leader to move things forward. Another great example is from the marketing sphere. Digital marketing now is one of the primary ways that people are reaching consumers via digital marketing. And the great thing about digital marketing is that we can capture the ticks and clicks, all the places that people go on that digital marketing campaign, or on internet websites, or on landing pages. And as we capture that data, we can analyze it to make better decisions and create better outcomes for our sales, or for increasing followership, or for increasing impressions, whatever the goal may be, to increase that marketing profile of an organization. And so I think that it's not just why is big data important? It's that big data is already embedded inside of every industry, even if you don't think it is. And so it's not that it's just important, it's that it's essential to be conversant in analytical processes and analysis, but also in the terms and language of big data.
Okay, thank you, Ted, for that. Dr. Karthik? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Karthik, can you, one of participant mentioned, messaged me privately. He is asking about what are the programming language or softwares we will be using.
Basically, we want to keep the programming in a minimalistic approach. So we will start with R, and throughout the course, we will actually basically use R, which is more like people can think R like an advanced calculator rather than a programming environment, which is very conducive, and definitely like you can use it in any of the contexts, like let's say machine learning, R can support, as well as when we're looking at like large volumes of data, like from megabytes to gigabytes and terabytes, R can seamlessly handle. And since I come from a financial analytics background, I'm very much confident that people across any domains, like from conception to marketing to banking, R will actually suffice the requirements. So R is a kind of tool extensively going to be used in the program. So the participants will definitely feel comfortable, because we are going to organize a lot of hands-on sessions, and we will definitely have a contact session also, like where participants can clear their doubts. And we will definitely have webinar too, definitely, as Himanshu has already told. So we'll have webinar contact sessions. Only thing is like the tenacity, which we expect a bit from the participants, and once it is there, it's like a grand slam done.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Karthik. So, attendees, have you any questions? You can shoot. Let's wait a minute for questions. Yeah, so Vinny Razdan asked, you can see the question, how is blockchain technology going to affect business analytics? Is there any relation? So I think Ted, you can answer that question.
Thank you for unmuting me. I would have forgot.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, you know, I think that blockchain technology is very interesting because it acts, you know, in the case, for example, of Bitcoin, it acts as a ledger that is universal in nature and helps decentralize information from a third party. And so what this does is create greater efficiencies in all kinds of different ways. And so I know there's lots and lots of work. I'm not an expert in blockchain, but I know there's lots and lots of work happening now about how we might use this way of sharing information to spread out over multiple user machines, for example, rather than being centralized in a data warehouse or something like that, that allows big data to be saved in a more secure way because it's not centralized in a single area, but also allows it to be transferred more readily from person to person. I think the philosophical assumption that I'm most interested in as a leadership professor is this idea of decentralizing some of the decision-making power or the gatekeeping power of who can actually have access to certain types of information or who can house certain types of data. And so the encryption methods on the blockchain are very interesting too, because it allows for greater security through a decentralized system. So I think that what is most interesting to me about blockchain and how it might interface or affect big data is this idea of moving from centralized hardware, if you will, to decentralized hardware mechanisms for storage and then being able to have larger amounts of information shared from person or organization to organization.
Okay. Thank you, Ted, for that. Yeah, one more question, Ted. Do you have any idea about the tools and softwares or languages the Professor Allen will be using for their content, for their module?
So I'm not familiar if he's going to be using what programming language he'll be using, but it will be in the course materials and the module materials and have any prerequisites that anybody needs. It's designed, the modules are designed though for someone who is not from a programming background to be able to jump in and start to get a good grounding in the material.
Okay. Any more question, attendees?
Himanshu?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
Yes, Karan.
we could let the participants know about the fact that we have limited demo access to the course, which helps you, get hands-on with the learning environment. It's pretty immersive learning environment. It gives you an option to access our one of our modules, try out a couple of our quizzes, and see what the entire LMS, the entire learning environment looks like. If you would want to get your hands to it, feel free to talk to us, to our admission counselors. Call us on the number mentioned on the website or write to us on the email ID, and we would give you an access to the learning environment.
Okay, Karan. Thank you for sharing that information, Karan. Yeah, also the first batch will be starting on 1st of the August. So just if you want to do this course, just register as soon as possible because it takes time to process your application. We'll have to screen your application. So yeah, apply as soon as possible if you want to do this course. I think we are good to go. Karan, Dr. Karthik?
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure.
Anything you want to add, Ted?
No, thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure to talk with you. Glad to be available to answer any other questions. And of course, contact your enrollment counselors as was instructed before.
Yeah. Okay, then thank you everyone for attending this. Let's wrap this discussion here.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Karthik. Thank you, Ted.
Any queries you get from the participants, we will be happy to definitely reply to them in detail. So,
yeah.
So that's, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thanks for attending.
Thanks, Karan.
Thank you all.
Sure. Bye.